Welcome back to Bleav in Softball. I'm your host, Jenna, and it is officially September softball. Here we are. Fall is always a fun time for sports, and I love that softball is getting in on the action too. And we got that action for you here on the show. So some reminders for ways to keep up with the show. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Bleav in Softball. That's BLEAV. Subscribe to Bleav in Softball on YouTube and actually watch the episodes too. All right, let's go through today's order. First, we'll cover our bases, give you some news and updates as per usual. Then we'll head into today's interview with Anissa Urtez. She's a defense queen, which you know I love, and she's been killing it in Athletes Unlimited, Tokyo, and more, playing with and against her fiancé too, Amanda Chidester. Just so many cool things going on in her life. One of my favorite conversations probably, and I can't wait for you to hear it. Then we'll end things with the foul tip of the week, where we share tips to help us get better. All right, let's get started. Covering our bases. Week 2 of Athletes Unlimited has now come to a close, and it was honestly one of the more evenly matched sets of teams that we've seen so far in the existence of this league. Just keeping us on our toes, as per usual. A few highlights and interesting things for me from this weekend of games is that this is the first time that Kat actually truly got beat in a game. First of all, it was the first time we saw her not in a gold uniform in actual games that counted that weren't some of the scrimmages. First time ever. She was in Team Orange leading the way as the captain, and she actually got beat. And you have to score to win. They lost 2-0 there at the end. Team Jakewish was able to come out on top. And I got to give it to the Minnesota Gophers. Amber Fizer and Sarah Gronewagen, the alums, combined in the circle to get that win, and they crushed it. They were absolutely dealing. Lily Piper's team just fought and competed every single inning as well. I have to give them credit. They broke the purple curse also. They got the win on the weekend and just had high energy, and I really, really enjoyed that, especially from a first-time captain. And then, of course, we cannot not mention the Samantha Shao bat flip. We finally saw one in Athletes Unlimited. She had multiple homers last season, but we never saw the bat flip come out, but we saw it this time. It was almost a little bit delayed too, while she was waiting to see okay, wait, is it going over? And then she chucked it into the ground. The one thing I will say is they were losing, I want to say 9-2 at the time, and then her home run made it 9-4, so it cut the lead a little bit. In the past, some folks who have come on the show said that, Samantha Shao talks about how she really only does the bat flip in a really key moment in a game where it puts them ahead or it's like a walk-off or something like that. This was not that exactly, but honestly, still entertained, still fun to see. I will say she got a taste of her own medicine too. Erica Piancastelli had the walk-off grand slam, which was awesome. I love me a grand salami. It's like, what's not to like? She it wasn't like a full bat flip, but tossed the bat a little bit, took the helmet off, almost like tipped her helmet, tipped her cap to herself, kind of, when she was running the bases, and she put it back on. But when you do something like that, you kind of deserve it. And she had another walk-off, too, on Monday for her team to actually win the 7th inning. They won the game, but they were also able to get those inning points, which is pretty awesome. So if you're walking it off, I guess you're able to do it. Some other things that make me happy, as we all know, anyone who's ever listened to me knows that I love this, pitchers fielding their positions. God, it's the best. Them being the 5th infielder on the dirt, or in this case, the turf. But I loved it. Alicia Ocasio had the bare hand, and she threw it to first base. Sarah Gronewagen had an on-the-run play that she made off of a sneaky bunt from Anissa Urtez. Kat was able to actually glove a ball in front of her, a little dribbler, and just shovel it to get the force at home, like no hands. And then Odyssey Alexander kind of just doing what she does, right? But with tons of comebackers, and she was just a brick wall out there, and I love to see it. And I want to give some call outs on both sides of the ball too. There are certain things that we've seen over and over again in Athletes Unlimited. Like, for example, Haley McClenny making diving catches, right? Like, we know this. But a couple things that have really emerged that have been somewhat new and kind of cool this season. On defense, Riley Sarton-Vaughn, it's her first year in Athletes Unlimited, and she has just been making her mark over there at third base. Quick plays, getting rid of it really fast against those fast slappers. The hot corner, just playing solid D, and I love it. As a former third baseman, I'm all about it. So lots of respect for her. And then also Morgan Zirkle on offense. So we know, even last year and this year, people talk about all the time, she might be the fastest person in Athletes Unlimited. She has got a ton of speed. You see that when she's in the box, utilizing it for the small ball, the slapping, etc. But she, no doubt about it, has added power to her game this year as well. She's left the yard a couple times already, and that versatility is what I'm talking about. Then, come on. I know she's today's guest, but even if she wasn't, got to give a shout out to Anissa Urtez on both sides of the ball. She's dropping bombs. She's laying down sneaky bunt, base hits. She's an absolute stud over there at shortstop, climbing the ladder, making diving plays. Just like, oh man, just exactly what you want in a shortstop and more. So those are some of the fun things that I noticed. I also want to say, like, in general, I think this season of Athletes Unlimited has been a great opportunity for Olympians to turn the page. Now, there are a ton of Olympians, I think over 20 in the league as it is. And the Tokyo experience is a very specific one. So seeing like Erica Piancastelli just like swinging it, having a good time. She even posted on social media about how she's like, thank you, AU, for bringing this smile back, right? Like just brings a lot of great energy. Ali Aguilar also really like coming into her own offensively, broke out of it after Tokyo. I think Kelsey Harshman, also known as KJ, Kelsey Jenkins, she is building on the bronze medal experience that she had, I think, from season 1 of AU to season 2. Look at her, man. I mean, nothing but up. Tori Vidalis, one of the hottest bats in AU right now, enough said. And then even opportunities for people like Hannah Flippen and Taylor Edwards, who didn't know that they were going to have to leave as alternates in Tokyo and couldn't be there with their team. They're getting an opportunity to just play and just love the game, and it's really cool to see. And I will say, it's not all rainbows and butterflies as Olympians. We'll talk to Anissa about that too, but Danielle O'Toole shared a really vulnerable statement on her social media about that whole process and how, you prepare so much for this event, but you don't really think about the after, like what happens after the Olympics, right? And the processing and all of that. So I think just, again, AU being an opportunity for these Olympians to be able to turn that page and begin that process and that processing of what happened in Tokyo and just getting them back to their roots of like, why do I love softball, right? It's a good thing. So then the draft for week 3. I can't believe we're already into week 3. It's wild. We're almost halfway here, but the top 4 in the standings are the current captains. Kat Osterman, she's back in gold. We knew she would be, right? There she is. Haley McClenny, first-time captain in orange. I can't believe she hasn't been a captain before, but finally, I'm super excited for that. Savannah Jakewish, team blue. Alicia Ocasio is team purple. Now, that 4th slot, purple, would have been Tori Vidalis, but due to a known absence, she had pre-approval for this before Athletes Unlimited started. She's going to be gone for a couple days this weekend in week 3. They knew that already, so she's being replaced by who was number 5 on the list, which is Ocasio. The other change, Sammy Williams had a season-ending injury, which you hate to see. It's a bummer, huge bummer. But reserve player Bubba Nichols has been signed and will play this week. So she'll wear number 47. So now it's she's joining Deja and some of her other Team USA teammates in this league. And with that change, though, Bubba's obviously an outfielder. So number 62, Kayla Whittle, she was previously classified as an outfielder, but she's going to be reclassified now as a middle infielder so that they can even out the numbers at each position like they had it before. So just a few changes. This is what happens in pro softball. You have rules, regulations, all that good stuff. But I think call-outs for each team, one thing for each team that I think is going to make things interesting. First, guess who's back? Back a Gwen. Kat took Gwen Svekis in her first pick. Again, they are reunited. I kind of love it. Like I said, I think we'd been seeing Coach Kat. She'd really been kind of like letting her pitchers and players do their thing. Still picking catchers that she was familiar with, but I think she's getting back to it. Like, you know what? That loss didn't taste very good, right? Didn't sit well with her, so she's just getting back at it and back to the foundation of what made her great in AU. Love it. Haley McClenny got the entire USA outfield. It's literally her, Janie Reed, and Michelle Moultrie, so there you go. As well as an Olympic battery. I mean, Sarah Groenewegen from Team Canada, Danielle O'Toole from Team Mexico in the circle, as well as Sasha Palacios behind the dish from Team Mexico, so very familiar with O'Toole, and Erica Piancastelli, who is there with Team Italy and Team Italy's captain. So she clearly just went the Olympic route, not a bad way to go. Savannah Jaquish, to me, I noticed that she just has a ton of versatility. And I think, like herself, versatility loves company, I think, in this case. She has Amanda Chidester, who can play first and even catch a little bit. Samantha Shao, who's obviously a two-way player in the circle and at the batter's box. And then Kayla Weddle, who was obviously an outfielder before, but apparently can play middle infield too. So look at all of those things coming together. And then she got rookie Bubba Nichols too. So a lot of options on her team. That's going to be interesting. Got to give a shout out. Can't not give a shout out. Alicia Ocasio got Urtez and Flippin up the middle. You love to see it. I cannot wait. And we're going to hear all about it and everything else straight from today's guest. So let's go ahead and head into the interview. She is Team Mexico shortstop, a Tokyo Olympian, Athletes Unlimited Pro, and All Pac-12 honoree at Utah, Anissa Urtez. Thank you for joining. I'm super excited about this.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Honestly, how are you doing? I feel like there's just so much that's been going on this year. Let's start there.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind of a year. I've been constantly playing softball for 9 months this year, and it's just, I haven't been able to catch a break, but I think for me, it's been awesome to be able to finish the year on such a high note with Athletes Unlimited. And, being in a positive environment, empowering women all around you. So it's been super awesome to be able to connect with the people I have been recently. But it's been a lot. It's been a lot of different emotions going through my head, and, the come down of the Olympics and all the hard work that you put in, like the mental capacity, it's a lot. So just trying to stay level headed right now, continuing to play and enjoy the time I have playing softball. So I'm really excited to be here in Chicago right now.
Athletes Unlimited does seem like the perfect environment for exactly that. So that's fantastic that it worked out that way for you. And I have to tell you, one of my favorite moments so far in AU has been what I've been calling like the power couple moment with you and Chitty, just because it was so fun. Like most of the time you're playing against each other, really, more so than together. So the fact that you're on the same team week one was really cool. But then to see her hit the home run and then right after that you like lay down the bunt single was so cool. Like that, not everybody gets to experience that. So I just had to tell you that.
Oh, thank you. It was fun playing with her, and especially batting with her fourth and fifth in the lineup. Like I don't think we've ever done that before. So being able to experience that was really awesome. But I'm like, okay, dang, she just hit a home run. Should I lay a sneaky bunt down? Like, what should I do now? What should I do here? So it worked out fairly well, I would say. But it was a really cool moment for sure.
Well, it definitely worked out well. But I kind of love that you just like laid down the bunt. I actually thought that made it even better. Like just because it's like, look, the yin to my yang, I don't know. Just everything about it was amazing.
That's great. Yeah. I don't know. I think I was expecting a change up during that at bat. So I told myself that first pitch, okay, if this is a change up, I'm going to lay the bunt down because she just went rise ball on Chitty. So I'm like, okay, let's be a little strategic here with the planning. We needed some runs.
Well, the execution was perfect. So
yeah.
You nailed it.
Thank you.
I also love too, like I've read you guys talk about, because you get asked all the time, obviously, about playing against each other. And I love that you guys are both just like, well, it's game on. Like we're here to compete. And that's what you're all about. I think I've never been in your position, but if I were, I feel like that's the right way to do it. Like it just seems right.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think for the both of us, we've really made it a point in our relationship. Softball is not what our relationship is. We talk about so many other things off the field, and honestly, we barely even talk about softball. Like that's the crazy part. We're these elite athletes, but we know how to kind of turn it off when we're off the field, because we enjoy regular life. We love to go hiking, we love to bike, and we live in Salt Lake City, Utah right now. So we really enjoy the outdoor lifestyle. So for us, it's very important that we kind of separate the two. But when we do come together and we play softball, we understand like we're both in the same career, so we're going to have conversations about softball too. So it's kind of compartmentalizing life in a way, because we both enjoy the same things on and off the field. So it's been really special to be able to navigate all of it. And it's honestly never been an issue for us, which is crazy to say because, you sometimes, you're in the same career, you're on the same team, you want the spot, the position and all of that. But it kind of helps that we're different positions and we bring a little bit of, different things to the table. She's the hitter and I'm the defensive player. So we kind of help each other out in that sense too. So she's been helping me with hitting a ton and then I'm helping her with defense. So it's like a win-win for both of us. But it's been really special to see the growth that we've had as a couple and as players because, I don't think we would have been able to thrive both on and off the field without each other. And I think that's really special.
It's incredibly special. Like just as an outsider, witnessing it, it's really cool that you guys have done it in such a way that it's a very healthy approach to your relationship, like you're saying. And it's only a value add versus like you said, because in many situations, this could be really difficult, right? And there could be tension, but you guys have just, I don't know, it's like couple goals, I got to tell you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
It's so cool. It's so cool. I also love that both of you guys are like, I've noticed that both of you are very smiley when you play. Like you're very happy to be playing, which is also just a good vibe,
Yeah. She's really helped me enjoy the game because she's the kind of person who is like, she's very present, be where your feet are. And she's helped me become that way too. And so I don't know, even before we met, she was super energetic. And like when I saw her on the Nationals, when we played scrapyard together, I was like, I want to be your friend. Like, I want to be on your team because you're bringing the energy and you're like hyping me up right now. So I guess that sort of energy helped me become more energetic and just let loose a little bit because I'm more so like, let's get down to business. Let's focus. What are the goals? Like, what are we doing here? And also Team Mexico kind of helped me, loosen up too, in a sense of let's have some fun. Let's loosen up because when we play tense, we don't perform well. So kind of having the best of both worlds where, we need to focus and get the job done, but also have a good time, bring the energy and, hype each other up. So she definitely helped me with that. And so I think we're both very grateful that we get to continue our careers together because it's very uncommon, so to be able to have this platform and do what we're doing, like we're truly grateful that we get to do this and put on a show.
It really is. It's like the best kind of show. You mentioned Team Mexico too. Like that energy is also something that I love. And there is a part of me too. Like I also am Latina. Like my grandma's Mexican, my grandpa's Spanish. So on my dad's side, so I have that background. So I think I always am just like rooting for you guys, like in general, because you have to, right? But also like your team energy is so awesome. Like I've had some of your teammates on like Tori and Sashel and Thule and like everyone is just it's always about like witches over everything. And it's just like this family atmosphere. It's just, I love it. Like it must be so amazing to be a part of a group like that.
It has been one of the best experiences of my life to be able to compete with Team Mexico. I've been able to travel the world. I've been able to see a lot of different places, different cultures, and meet some of the most amazing people. A lot of those girls on the team, they're some of my closest friends. And, without this opportunity, I would have been able to meet them, yes, but I don't think I would have been able to meet them on the level that I know them now. Like we are like ride or dies. We are witches, they said it because, it's a tough road. It's a grind, especially playing international because, you have the low funding and, you never know where you're going to stay and just different things like that when you're in different countries. Being one unit and sticking together, like that's what saved us. That's what got us through. And, if I'm being honest, if it wasn't for them, I don't know if I would have stayed playing with Team Mexico just because, we did it for each other. We played for one another, and that's why we got so far in the Olympics. And that's something so special. I think we had the strongest team chemistry out of all the Olympic teams just because of everything we've been through. We've been through a lot of ups and downs. So just to be able to stick together and have tough conversations with them has been awesome. So just being able to stick together and like we have, I think, 7 other Mexico players playing Athletes Unlimited. So it's been really awesome to be able to continue playing with them after Team Mexico. And just being in a different environment too. We definitely needed this. We needed some, organization. We needed to feel empowered. We needed all that stuff. So it's been really special to be able to be with all of them for sure.
I know in Athletes Unlimited too, I remember, I think it was Tori last year saying that people saw you guys were writing like brujas on your water bottles or something, and people were like, can I be like in the witches group? And Tori was like, no, sorry. Like, so I feel like you guys are like the envy of AU.
That's so funny. Yeah, we had stickers that said main witch on them.
That's what it was. That's right.
Yeah. So it said main witch because we had this water bottle Piper thing at AU, and I'm like, this will be cool. What am I gonna write with this cool sticker thing? So I was like, okay, let's make these stickers. Like, that's gonna be fun. So that's where we got the idea.
That's amazing. Like, I love that so much. It's like the best kind of clique, because it's like you are like a special community, but you're also not like Tori's not serious, right? It's like, of course you have all these relationships with everybody else too, but it's still, I don't know. It's like a community without being like cliquey in a bad way. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, our group of girls, the Team Mexico girls, we're just a bunch of clowns. Like, we just love to have fun. We love to laugh, and like, we let anyone come a part of it. Like, and I've heard a few people from Athletes Unlimited say, like, you guys are just so funny when you guys are together because, I don't know, we just love to mess around. It's who we are. We love to keep it loose, and that helps us be successful as one unit. So it's been fun that we're able to, be friends with other people who weren't a part of the team, and they can see that we're all super close too. So that's really cool.
Your dynamic to me seems like the best of Mexican culture, though, in the sense that it's very much about family. It's very much about like working hard, being scrappy, even like doing a lot with a little, like you said. Like, the funding's not always like amazing, right? But it's just, these are things that I feel like are principles, at least from my experience, like with my family, that are very like quintessential like Mexican values. And I just think that it comes out really nicely with your team.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you said it, it's family. And I feel like if we can relate it to everyone's family and their upbringing and where they came from, like, for example, my grandma, she's from Mexico, and she brought my dad over to the US when he was 2 years old. And so she came from very little to like having this very strong Latina like presence to herself, where she's like, I need to make my family, I need to put them first, and I need to build a better life for them. So I'm going to bring them to the US. And so she had 6 other kids with her too, and it was just her. And so she's raising all of these kids. She wants to build a better life, and she was successful at that. She brought them to California. And so I think that was a huge blessing for her to be able to see her kids thrive and, get married, have a family, be able to build themselves their own lives too. So with that story and comparing it to our team, coming from absolutely nothing and losing games, not being a winning team, not having really a culture or a sense of, okay, what's next for this program. I joined the team before I even knew the Olympics was a thing, and I just wanted to represent my family. And so once the Olympics were back and we actually had a chance to go, I think that's when everyone flipped the switch, and they were like, okay, we need to figure out what we want to do here. What goals do we need to set? What do we need to do in the gym? What do we need to do mentally? Like, how are we going to be a team that's, gonna going to have a dream for those little girls who want to be the next Team Mexico, So we were able to build off of absolutely nothing, and to be able to figure out what we needed to do was huge, and then all of a sudden we start winning games, we start proving people wrong. We beat USA in the Dominican Republic for the very first time, like in history ever. And that was a huge turning point for our team. It was like, wow, okay, we can actually like keep up with these teams. Like, why not us? So I think that was the moment too, when it really clicked for everyone. Like, okay, we are an Olympic team and we're going to make it. So all of that really helped us gain the momentum that we needed. We stuck together, we had fun, and everyone, we kept coming back, and the same players kept coming back because of how much fun we had, and we were successful, and we stuck to our goals and the culture that we wanted to be a part of. And that was truly special because we grew so much throughout the years. We kept the core people together, and I think that's what really helped us grow to become fourth place at the Olympics. So it was all a part of the plan, the whole growing process, the journey with everything. So I think it's truly special for a lot of us because we've been on the team for so long and we've seen the growth. So it has been truly an honor to be able to see it and be proud of it, because we built something from nothing, and we're super proud of it for our country, for our families, for the little girls who have a dream, who want to play in the Olympics. So just being able to be that for them, like that's always been motivation for us too. So it's been truly special.
That's beautiful. Honestly, that's the word that I can think of to describe it. And I feel like when you guys made that history at the qualifier, where you're like, wow, holy crap, like we're going to the Olympics for the first time ever with Mexico. Like having that moment felt monumental. And then you finally now, after all the delays and all the craziness, like got to have the Olympic moments to actually be on the stage too. It's just like, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. This is wild.
Yeah. It was crazy. The qualifier was crazy because during that summer, we didn't have a very good tournament when we went to Peru. And so that was the turning point for us because we did not play our best. We were making errors. We didn't have good at bats. And once the tournament was over, we were all crying in the locker room. Like, this is not who we are. Like, we're so close to the qualifier and we aren't where we're at. We're not supposed to be here. This is not what's supposed to happen this summer. Like, we've prepared, we've done all the work, and so I think we definitely needed that point to figure out, okay, how are we going to change during the qualifier? What's next? And we had to be quick because we had, I think, 2 weeks until the qualifier. And so we went home for a week. We kind of digested everything, reflected on what we needed to do. And so we get together for the qualifier and it's a completely different team. Like, I don't know what happened. We all like flipped the switch and we were like, okay, let's get down to business. And we really slowed everything down. And our goal was one game at a time, one pitch at a time, one pitch at a time, one out at a time, one inning at a time. And so that was our mentality throughout the whole thing. And so that really helped us figure out the mentality we wanted going into the Olympics because it was helpful. And we figured it out when we were in the Olympics. We kind of struggled against Canada the first game, but we were too tense. We knew that. And we wanted to figure out, okay, what do we need to do to fix this? Because we don't want to feel like this every game. And we got to do it quick. So we were just like, let's have fun. Let's be loose. Like, that's when we're successful. And then we come out and we play against Japan and we have an amazing game against Japan, completely different team, flip the switch. So it's like we knew the experience of, being a little bit tense and then having to come back and be loose for a different tournament. So it was kind of the similar feeling. So it was just a lot quicker that we needed to do it. So we definitely figured it out and we had more fun and it was very competitive. It was an amazing experience to be able to, be on the stage where we had put so much work in. Like, it's like, wow, we're finally here. Like, this is what we've been working for. And so it was very rewarding for all of us to be able to be there. Like, wow, we made it here. Like, we did it. And so just very, very honored to be able to wear Mexico across my chest. And we did what we did. We made history, and we battled like hell in the bronze medal game. And so I have a lot of respect for Canada because we competed against them all summer, and they're a great team. But I'm very proud of us. I have no regrets. I gave it my all, and very excited for the future of softball, and hopefully softball comes back in 28, because there's a lot of girls who still, they still want the dream. They want it to be alive. And I truly think that they deserve it, So it's been super cool to be able to put everything full circle to, all the hard work. We finally did it. And now it's like, it came and went really fast. So it's a lot of processing, but super proud, super humbled that I was able to experience it all. And with the group that I was with, it was, a dream come true, honestly.
So many amazing moments.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite Olympic moments of yours, you mentioned the Japan game. Your home run, you had more than one in the Olympics, of course, but the home run specifically off of Yukiko Ueno, for me, I was just like, this is amazing. Like, it was such a special moment. I mean, and this is like me at home on my couch, right? So for you, how was that moment?
Well, if I'm being honest, I blacked out the whole time running the bases. And I think I was like sprinting so fast because I'm like, what just even happened right now? Like, this is crazy. But I don't know. I had a plan going up to the plate, and I just stuck to my plan, and I saw it there, and I swung, and I didn't know if it was going over the fence, honestly. I thought that she was going to catch it right there, and she was really close to catching it. And when I saw it bounce over the fence, I'm like, oh my God, like, we're in this freaking game. Like, it was wild. It was a really cool moment. I think that lit the fire for our team. Like, okay, we're in it. Like, we're going to win this game. Like, this is a close game. And so, really proud of our fight during that game, because it was the game after Canada. And so we had better at bats. We had great defense. We did all the right things. And Julie pitched a great game. Like, she was on fire. And so that also helped us with momentum too. So it was a really cool moment. But I just stuck to my plan, and then I blacked out, and I'm like, oh my God, what just happened? I don't know.
You were sprinting too.
Yeah.
But you know what? I remember seeing that. I was like, I guess I would too. Like, so much adrenaline, right?
Yeah,
like, how do you, I don't know.
I was just so excited, and I wanted to hurry to my teammates at home, and I'm just like, what the heck just happened?
Seriously.
Cool.
Honestly, home run celebrations with your team are the freaking best. Like, whether you're the one who hit it or not, they're just the best. Like, it's such a cool moment to all come together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
And then we're able to, we have a home run celebration with the tacos. I don't know if you see that. So
I've seen it a little bit. I think Sashelle did it recently, right? In AU.
Yeah,
I think I saw her.
Yeah, Julie just yelled out when she hit the home run. She's like, let's do the taco, because we had like 6 girls from Team Mexico on our team last weekend. So that was also fun. But that's been a part of us for a few years now. So we're like, let's just eat the taco. Like, we love tacos. So funny.
Yeah. Well, firstly, who doesn't love tacos? But also, yes. Like,
So
that's
funny.
amazing. I love that so much. It's the best.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned it earlier too, though, going from the Olympics, it's like a month later, maybe, and you start Athletes Unlimited, but the environment seems so great for it. But like, how has that transition been? Because international, to your point, is a lot different, obviously, than AU.
Yeah. It's been hard softball wise, just because, coming from the Olympics, you have a plan with each pitcher, and, they're going to have the same catcher. And so you kind of plan strategically to that battery. And so I went in full on 100% sticking to each plan with each at bat in the Olympics, and then going from that to kind of like slowing it down with Athletes Unlimited, because it's completely different. It's like there's a new catcher, there's a new pitcher throws to a new catcher every week, and it's just like there's a lot of moving parts that I tried not to think about, but I mean, it was inevitable with the way that my mind was working with the Olympics. So I kind of struggled a little bit at the beginning, trying to figure out, okay, what do I even want to tell myself here at the plate? Because all these pitchers have different catchers. I don't know what the catchers are going to throw. And so it's kind of slowing the game down and just figuring out like, okay, I can't go off of what they're going to throw me, but let's try to change our mindset to, okay, what are the pitcher's strengths? Let's see what their strengths are and just kind of go with that and not worry about, okay, are they going to throw me inside? Are they going to throw me a change up here? Like, and I guess I was just guessing a little too much. So figuring that out has been huge, and just kind of just sticking to the plan again and not second guessing it. I've been lucky enough to be playing shortstop for every single game, so that's been fun. And yeah, the dynamic has been a little bit different, but it's awesome because the environment is so positive, so empowering. We have different programs about just different topics going on in the world, and so I think that brings a lot of people together to be able to have those hard conversations that you don't normally have, and especially with your peers, it's really special because we're all going through the same thing, and it's been fun. I'm really glad I'm here. I'm really glad I've been a part of this in the second season and in the first season. So I really hope that we take off and we continue to, grow the sport of softball and get this thing rolling.
I have no doubt that that's going to happen because last season and this season already have been fantastic.
Yeah.
But you know what? Those are all really great points in the sense that certain things about international softball, specifically the Olympics, and AU are actually kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. Like now that you're saying this, it's kind of clicking for me for the first time where it's like you guys spent so long and an additional year, in addition to that, focusing on 5 teams you're going to play, very specific plans, like such buildup for what ended up being like 6 games at the end of the day, for the Olympics. And then you come to AU and it's like, well, everything's changed. There's way too many people to try to have that specific of a plan for every single at bat and you don't even know your teams. You don't really know anything. These are a lot of people that, and unlike Mexico, you're meeting new people, you're like starting new relationships, friendships, all of those things. Whereas for Team Mexico, it's like, oh, these were your sisters for a long time, So it's very, very different. And what a switch to have to flip. It seems like in a good way, just different.
Yeah. And I think the whole Olympic experience has to be put on pause right now. The processing has to be put on pause just because, it's not enough time to be able to process it and come to AU and try to, be present here with different people and different plans. So, I've been talking to my sports psychologist and she's like, there's no way you can set all these new goals like so fast. Like just continue to ask yourself, what do you want out of this experience? And that's it. And keep it that simple and you're going to have fun. And so I was like, okay, that's a good point. That's a really good point. And so I told her, I was like, I want to just enjoy it. I want to embrace it. And I just want to compete and just keep it as simple as that. And that has to be okay with me because I can't, the way that everything went with the Olympics and all of the processing, like that's all I'm able to kind of soak in at the moment. So just being able to keep it that simple. So enjoy, embrace, and compete. And I feel like I've been able to stick to that during the games and it's been great and been successful. And so it's been really key to be able to talk to her about these different things because, it's a lot. So it's been helpful to kind of navigate where I want to put my focus to.
It's really, really smart to think of it that way. I mean, that's probably why she has the job she has. But I'm also just glad to hear that you talk to a sports psychologist. Like these are the types of things that I think players and athletes in general should do. I wish I did that more in college, just have that resource. It's so important.
Oh yeah, it's so important, especially, after the Olympics, a lot of Olympic athletes talk about, having depression and going through a lot of mental health issues. So for me, it was important for me to be able to like make the first step and be like, okay, I know that this might happen, and I want to take the right steps to not avoid it, but do it in a healthy way and figure out and be aware of, what I'm feeling and how I can get through it in a healthy and positive way. So, really depending on her for the resources because she's helped me through this whole year. She was with us. I Bleav it started in January of this year, and so we've had a lot of one-on-ones, and so she's helped me through a lot of different things, and I really trust her. So it's definitely helpful to be able to talk to someone about what you're going through, mentally and physically on and off the field. And she's been super great about it, and just having that open communication and being just honest about what you're feeling because you know right now I'm going to have to guard a little bit because of where we're at and what I'm doing with Athletes Unlimited. And so it'll be good to be able to process all of it once this is done, but super super important for me to be able to let it out and just talk to someone because I'm the kind of person who kind of internalizes a lot of different thoughts, and if I internalize it a lot, then it's just a mess. It's chaotic. So just to be able to talk to someone and let it out, and then heal in a healthy way has been huge for me.
Girl, I'm the same way. So much overanalyzing, and I completely understand that. Like it is, if you let yourself, spiral too much, it can get crazy. So
Yeah.
so smart for you to approach it this way. And you know what? Like, in addition to having her as a resource, like maybe letting go and just enjoying an Athletes Unlimited ultimately will help you better process the Olympics and this entire year of softball, right? Like it all ends up building up to be a positive.
Definitely.
Way. Yeah. And just everybody I talk to from AU, including what you've already said, it's just such a positive experience. Like everybody always, there's more smiles, I think, on all your faces during AU than maybe I've ever seen, like even at the Olympics, because there's so much pressure and it's very intense, but then you get to just kind of just like let everything go and play in Athletes Unlimited. But this is your second year. So how's the vibe been this year compared to last season?
I think it's been pretty similar in a sense where, a lot of people are excited to be together and, just, I keep saying it, empower one another and have conversations. And, you meet a lot of new people, so you're going to have a lot of different conversations. And I really enjoy that. I really enjoy connecting with other people and meeting new people and figuring out, what works for them on the field and what they do off the field. So it's kind of like you're going into like a new college environment where like you're on a new team and you're super excited to meet new people. So it's been awesome, and we do a lot of off the field things like I had mentioned, and I think that's what helps us connect with one another. And so it's just a new dynamic of softball. So I think everyone has been super competitive too, because you have to be, I guess, a little bit more individualized with this setting because you're trying to get points for yourself and you're trying to get points for your team. So all of that has to be taken into consideration too. But overall, it's been great. People are excited to be here. People are excited for fans because we didn't have fans last year, and so a lot of the Olympians have been like, "This is weird. Like, we don't know how to act right now because we didn't even have fans in Japan and we didn't even have fans for AU last season." So that's also a very exciting factor. And then to be able to have family come in and watch us play, that's been really special too. So the fan piece of it, I think, has been the biggest difference of AU so far, but it's been amazing.
It's crazy how much fans affect at least the energy. Right? It's like, and then, but because fans also do include family, to your point, it's like, well, that also means we can have like the people we love most in the world, other than Chinny, of course, who's already there, but like everybody else, gets to come too. And like, that makes such a big difference. It's all helpful for the headspace.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's exciting too, because with family being in the stands, because they weren't allowed to come to the Olympics. So my dad's actually going to come for next weekend's games, and then my mom is going to come the weekend after that. So just for them to be able to watch me post Olympics is going to be special because, it was sad. It was heartbreaking that they weren't able to be in the stands in Tokyo, because they were planning on it. And so for them to be able to have this moment to be able to watch me, that's going to be special. So I'm really happy. I'm really happy about that.
Of course. I saw that they threw you and Chitty a celebratory party right after the Olympics too. That looked awesome.
Yeah, they did. That was really awesome. My mom planned the whole thing. My friend almost gave away the surprise, which was that was funny because I had went to her boyfriend's surprise party and she's like, "Oh, your mom invited us to the barbecue on Wednesday." And I'm like, "What barbecue? I thought it was just a family dinner." So I knew that something was going to happen, but I didn't know who was going to be there. But Chitty and I walk in and a bunch of people are there. They say, "Surprise, congratulations." And it was Chitty's family that lives in California, my family on both sides, some softball people that I grew up with from travel ball, my travel ball coaches, all the people that have been, an important piece of my life and an important piece of my softball journey. They were there. And so to me, it was truly special to have everyone in one spot. And my mom made these little decorations with the Mexico flag, with the USA flag. We had Mexican candy on the table. They made a flag it was kind of cut in half and it had the USA flag and the Mexico flag. And I thought that was really cool. And I'm like, that's going in our garage because that's really awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had decorations and all of the stuff. So it was really cool. And a taco guy, which I was super excited about. Of course.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. So it was a really special moment. I felt the love for sure.
That's amazing. And you're a SoCal girl too, right? I'm a SoCal girl.
Yeah.
And so even more reason for me to just root for you at all times, basically.
Yeah. Love SoCal.
Know that you have that.
Yeah.
But you mentioned so we're talking about off the field things in general, family and all this stuff is awesome. And for AU, I'm excited that your family will get to experience that with you as well. One of my favorite things at AU is that you all get to choose the cause that you're playing for. Also, I've always thought that was such a cool aspect to AU, one of many cool aspects. Why did you choose the Alzheimer's Association for your cause?
Yeah, so I chose Alzheimer's because my grandma on my dad's side, she recently passed away in January. And so she suffered with dementia and other health issues as well. And so I wanted to do something to be able to honor her and just know that she's on my heart and that I want to play for her. And so, anyone who's been affected by dementia or Alzheimer's, I wanted to be able to spread awareness and just kind of connect with anyone who has gone through what I've been through, because it was hard to see her that way. I would go and visit her and, she would sometimes not recognize my dad, or she would ask about my sister and she had already asked about her about 2 minutes ago. So just different things like that, where it's heartbreaking to watch a grandparent go through something like that. And, just finding research to be able to figure out a cure and just to be able to give support to other families who have been affected by this disease. So really, really happy that I'm able to partner with them. And it's been great. I feel like it's made my family proud for me to be able to continue to honor her and represent her. And she's one of the main reasons that I'm able to play for Team Mexico. She's a strong, independent woman, and I really respect her a ton, and I love her to death. So for me to be able to represent her and use my cause towards her has been everything.
Well, I want to thank you for doing that and for putting your efforts towards that cause. I'm sorry for your loss as well, but I'm really proud of you for doing something positive, with it now. I have not experienced it directly, but my great grandmother also suffered from dementia and Alzheimer's. And I remember my mom saying the same thing. She'd go over there almost every day take care of her and then leave. And then my grandpa would go and she'd be like, how come my mom, like, how come Marie never visits me? You know, and it's heartbreaking. So,
Yeah.
but I appreciate for you to actually kind of do something to help, you know, like take some sort of action with it and use your platform for it. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. And last year too, my grandpa, my mom's side, he had passed away. And so I had my cause to be the Leukemia Research Foundation because he passed away from leukemia. And so just being able to honor both of them has been, you know, the best decision, just to spread awareness and, you know, just to honor them. And I know that it's heartbreaking to know that they weren't able to watch me in the Olympics, but I know they had the best seat in the house by far. So I know they were with me, they were in my heart, and just super thankful for both of them and all the memories that we had.
Yes. Well, I didn't know them, and I don't mean to overstep by saying this, but I can guarantee they're very proud of you, as is everyone else. So
thank you.
Yes. I think it's really cool that really it seems to me that everything that you do really is, like you mentioned earlier, full circle. Like you go back to your roots and where you're from and like what those values are with everything that you do. And I just really respect that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, on a lighter note, some of your other roots were at Utah, obviously. So yet another reason for me to be a fan of yours, Pac-12 love. Like coming from Stanford, you went to Utah, like that's it. We have that connection. Always going to root for Pac-12, back to Pac. But
back to Pac, baby.
Right, right. I talked to Hannah Flippin about this when I had her on the show last year. I was like, and I was asking her about like, yeah, what did you think of the Pac? Like, what was your experience? You know, and I think it's a special group. You know,
it's definitely a special group. Oh yeah, definitely. We are tight knit, I feel like.
For sure. Such a historic conference, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's just, there's so many things there to dive into. But a really cool thing that happened recently is your head coach, Amy Hogue, being in the Hall of Fame. That is awesome.
Yeah, I'm so happy for her. Like, that is an amazing honor. She did so much for our program, and she still does. I mean, being an alum and then coaching at your alma mater, like, that is just, you know, amazing. And for her to be able to be recognized for what she did as a player is more incredible because she took that program to the World Series. And, you know, that has been her goal ever since, you know, she's been a coach at Utah. And so I'm just super, super proud that she was acknowledged and she got to experience all of it. And so, I mean, you know her, she's like, it was the team. And, you know, it was her. She did the work, but she did it with her team. But she was a freaking stud, you know. And I'm just really happy to be coached by her. She was very family oriented as well at Utah, and so really respected her. And she was like, I'm your mom away from home, and she would always tell us that. You know, she would make sure that we knew that and we could come to her for anything. And so super excited for her. She deserves it all. And so we still keep in touch to this day. You know, I'll go over to her house sometimes and we'll catch up and hang out and just chat around her bonfire. So those have been moments that I've been very appreciative about, just, you know, growing up and being an adult now and being able to maintain that relationship has been huge. So super, super happy for her.
That's so cool. And those are the best kinds of coaches, like just the ones that really do feel like you can go to for anything. Because not every coach is like that. That is really special, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's, for me, I enjoy connection and being able to have those conversations with coaches. So, you know, all of the coaches at Utah have been great. You know, Coach A was awesome. Coach Mags, you know, we still keep in touch. I just got off the phone with her about 2 days ago, just catching up with everything. And then Coach T got the head coach job at Utah Valley. And so that was awesome for him, was really, really excited for him too. And so, and then the volunteer Coach Russ, which he's not there anymore, but he was there when I was there, and he was just incredible and awesome. So it's really cool to be able to have a coaching staff that still follows you, and, you know, you can still text them whenever and say like, hey, how are you? How's life? Hope you're doing well. And so it's really cool to be able to have that relationship with the whole coaching staff because they're amazing. They're awesome people, and they're just they're just great people to be around in general. So
it seems like a really cool culture over at Utah. I remember this past season in 2021 for college, I got to call for Pac-12 Networks a series where Utah was at Cal. So I got to actually talk with Coach A and get to know her a little bit. And I loved her energy. She was just like, not really so much like stuck on like the record and the wins and stuff like that. She's just like, it's more than just ball games, but we're going to go out there and we're going to compete. And I do remember like when I did get a chance to play against Utah when I was in the Pac, like how scrappy the team was. And I just always liked the energy that you guys had. And I can tell once I started to get to know her a little bit more, I was like, okay, I understand where this comes from.
Yeah. She definitely sets the bar with energy. She's just cheery. She's just excited to be there. When she's on the field, she is on the field. But then when she's off the field, she's off the field. And so, she really made it a point to be able to give us, some life lessons, just without softball. For example, we have a hospital right behind our softball field, and so there's a life flight helicopter that goes and flies right over our softball field. And so for her, she made it a point for our team to stop practice, to reflect on where you're at in life, maybe even pray for whoever's in that helicopter, and just, be thankful for where you're at right now. You're on the softball field, you get to play and you get to do what you love. And, there's a lot of things going on in this world where we sometimes forget where we're at, like individually. And so that was also really cool of her to be able to, make that a tradition in our program, because it's more than just softball. It's life, it's family, it's everything. You spend 4 years of your life with these people, and she really wanted to make it a point to be able to connect with everyone on a deeper level. And so I truly value that in her. And so I think that's definitely why we were such a tight-knit program, and, our team chemistry was great. And so just things like that she would do, where she would just, give us a life lesson and just come back to reality with a lot of different things, because, sometimes you get caught up in the softball world and your own goals with your program and different things like that. But she made it, she opened it up a little bit more to just kind of view life more than just softball. So that's really cool to have a coach like that.
For sure. I remember her saying that she wants alums like you, like Hannah Flippen, to enjoy it so much that they can't get enough. Mm-hmm. And I can see that is the case, like with you and with Flip. And it's really cool to see. It's always like really nice to see that people have that sort of like lifelong relationship with their alma maters. And she was like, I still give them the codes to the facilities. They're around, so I see them.
Yeah. She's like, why are you even asking? Just go. Like, just go in there. I'm like, I'm sorry, you told me to ask and say thank you and all that stuff in college. I'm still doing the things you're telling me to do.
It's your fault.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's so funny. But actually, speaking of you and Flip, it was so fun last year in AU to see you guys up the middle together again. Like, this like Utah reunion, that was awesome. I love, like you mentioned, like you're a defensive player. I mean, I think you're very well rounded. Let's just say that. But the defense that you both bring, I love it. I'm a defensive purist. Like, I'm all about it. So I'm always like super excited when I see you guys make those amazing plays.
Oh my gosh, it was so fun. And I think it was the first weekend last year in AU that we were on the same team. And then we didn't get drafted to be on the same team the next 5 weeks. And I'm like, what the heck? Did they not just see we turned like 3 double plays in one weekend? Don't they want a Utah middle infield? Like, come on, But it was really cool. I'm really happy that I feel like the universe has just continued to keep us together, to play pro together, and then to play AU together, and then to play against each other internationally. Like, we've constantly been able to stay in each other's lives and grow as people together. And, that's been really special, because she really pushed me. She pushed me to become a better player at Utah, and she still does now. So to be able to continue to grow together, I don't know how many years it's been since we've played together, since 2013. That's a lot of years. I just realized right now. But we've done a lot growing up, and so I really respect her. She's made me a better player, and we can have different conversations about the game, and you know, we connect more than just softball too. Like we can talk about outside things, and she lives like 10 minutes from Chitty and I in Utah, and so we're practically neighbors. So she'll come over and hang out with us, or we'll go on bike rides together in the mountains, and so we just do different things like that together, where it's off the field stuff. So it's been really fun to be able to keep her around and become better people with each other. So it's been awesome to keep it going.
And she was at your engagement too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So cute.
They were all so sneaky. It was so funny. So sneaky.
It seems like that's a theme. Like your family, Chitty, like everyone's just like trying to be sneaky and surprise you with things.
I know, yeah. They want us to feel loved, I guess.
I know. What a burden to be that loved. Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I have to talk to you about infield a little bit because you mentioned it, like you and hand flipping, turning double plays like nobody's business. Mm-hmm. But I know I love defense, like I said. But what about defense do you love so much?
I would have to say the quickness of defense. I don't know. I'm a very big fundamental type of player, and so I'm all about the drills, and I'm all about after the drills, putting everything together. So for me, it's more of a rewarding feeling of, okay, I got the fundamentals down. I don't have to think about it anymore. And then we make these great plays. Like that's what has been the most for me, the most exciting thing about defense. And, the diving plays and all of that, like it just gives me more of a thrill than hitting. And don't get me wrong, I love hitting too. And I've grown a ton with my hitting, but my defense has always been my bread and butter, and I'm very, very proud of that. And so to continue to get better and to, just communicate with the infield and, just the difference, being the difference maker on the field, that's something that has been super exciting for me. So being able to make the cool play or save the game or, communicate with the middle infield and just talking to the pitcher and stuff, I think that's been the most exciting part for me for defense.
Totally. I don't know about you too, but I used to love like just beating people, like meaning like slappers, let's say, you know, like
that's the best feeling.
Right. Especially when they like think they're trying to pull one and you're like, nope, sorry, sit down. I don't know.
Oh yeah. I think that's probably my favorite play out of all of them is, getting the slappers out because they are sneaky people, So you never know where it's going to be, and you have to be quick. You have to make a good play and you have to be quick. So to be able to make those plays, like it feels so rewarding.
Totally. I feel like defense is just like artistic also. I mean, there's definitely an art to hitting as well, but just seeing like pretty defense, I just feel like there's nothing like it,
Nothing like it. Yeah. It's awesome. And there's not, there's not one way to do it either, so many different ways that people make it look pretty.
Yeah, and in different positions, like we're obviously talking infield here, but like, even some like awesome, like quick corner plays, like outfield catches, all these things, like defense is it's just pretty. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, that could be a whole episode in itself, honestly, us talking defense, I'm sure. But I won't subject you to that just yet. Maybe we'll have you on another time. And we can do that. As we wrap up, I do play a little game with everybody that comes on the show. Super fun, very straightforward. It's called Safe or Out. And basically, I'll just bring something up. And if you like it or you agree with it, you'll say safe. Or if you don't like it, you don't agree with it, you'll call it out. Okay. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm kind of nervous, but okay.
It's fine. I know people like it's one way or the other. People are like, yeah, sure, whatever. Or they're like, oh no. And it's like, it's not that serious. It'll be fine. I promise.
All right. I'm ready.
Okay. So first question is having turf in the infield like you do in AU, safe or out?
Safe.
Really? See, I asked Flippin' this and you give me your reason, but she was like, actually the hops are a little truer. I was like, oh, interesting.
I like the true hops. I don't want to deal with a rock and then, it goes off your shoulder or something. But if we
Totally.
are on Utah softball's infield with the dirt, then I mean, I would say out for sure because that's my
Because you love
favorite
that
field.
field.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good point, though. Like, I played on some bad, like we all have, like in like travel ball or rec ball or whatever. Growing up, like some of the fields we played on have been terrible.
Hmm.
College is pretty solid, but yeah, there are some like weird spots in the dirt that I guess you don't have
Yeah.
to deal with. But it's also really slick. I don't know. I've never played on an infield turf. I don't know if you can tell. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. I think the hops are true, so that's why I would choose safe.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. And I guess I'm not surprised you and Flippin had a similar thought process. Like, makes sense,
Yeah.
obviously. Okay. All right. So that was the first one. Talking to your opponent, like when they're on base. So, for example, like if you were to talk to anyone, could be Chitty or Hannah Flippin or someone else, but like while they're on second base, let's say, and you're playing short, safe or out.
I think it's safe. I think it's fine. I mean, people like to chit chat and, I talked to some people in the Olympics while they're on base and it wasn't a big deal. So I would say it's fine. And everyone talks to each other here in AU. So I mean, people
Of
have full
course.
on conversations with each other, whether they're at first, second, third, at the plate. The catchers talk to the hitters. So,
Yeah.
it's all friendly. So I think it's safe.
I think you're right too, because I think it's some level of like sportsmanship, but also you guys like people are mic'd up constantly. So I guess what's the
Mhm.
difference? It's like
Yeah.
literally there's so much access that like fans and viewers have to you guys that like whatever. You might as well just talk to each other.
Yeah. So I think it's friendly, definitely. So I would say safe.
Yeah. Yeah. For the young ones out there, it's like as long as you stay focused. But I think that's goes without saying for like elite players. But like for the young ones listening, you know, yeah,
Yeah.
chit chat, but
Yeah.
then stay. Because I'm trying to now. I'm imagining like rec ball coaches being like, "No, don't talk to your friends." But
Well, I would say in college, I wasn't a very chatty person with the opponent because I'm like, I want to beat you. But I didn't really know,
same.
like you don't really know who you're competing against in college. So I think it's different with professional because everyone knows each other somehow. So it's like, and we're a little bit older, we're more mature, we're able to, compartmentalize, like, let's have a conversation and then, okay, boom, let's get back to being focused. So I think the different
Totally.
levels is what where my answer will stand. Maybe in college I would say out, but here professionally I would say safe.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm on the same page. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last one is bat flips, safe or out.
Well, I feel like I don't know. I don't hit enough home runs to like flip. I'm just so worried about okay, let me get to second base and then I'm like, "Oh shoot, it went over the fence." So, I mean, if you want a bat flip, I don't care. It's fine. I think it's safe. Because
Yeah,
honestly, if you know it's over and you bat flip, okay, good for you. You got all of the ball and good on you. So, but personally, I don't know if I would do it because I don't know. I always just like try to run it out, and I don't think about like what I do after I like flip the bat away. I just like get it out and then I go. So it's for me. I don't think I would do it just because of that
yeah.
reason. But if you want a bat flip, you can bat flip.
I was more like you too, but Chitty hits a lot of home runs, but I don't really. I feel like she just immediately breaks out into a smile and then runs the bases. I don't know if I've ever seen her bat
Yeah.
flip. Now that I think of it,
I don't think it like I don't think she's focused on the bat flip because I know how her brain
yeah,
works. I think she's more so focused on how good her sequencing was. And she goes back and she'll rewatch all of her videos and where the pitch was at and the way she loaded and just different things like that. And she's like, wow, look at my separation, like things like that. So she's not more so worried about like looking cool. She's just worried about her craft, which I mean, it's not a bad thing. But that's
that's
just how her
probably
brain works. It's so
better.
funny. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that though. That's very like wholesome.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, I like these answers. Thank you for playing along, and thank you for joining too. I mean, this was really cool. I've loved watching you, especially over this last year. Obviously, with so much going on, but just love your game, and so it was really cool to get to know you and your thoughts in terms of softball, but also you as a person a little bit too. So thank you.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. Had fun chatting about a little bit of everything.
Anissa's basically done it all in softball. So to hear her perspective on not just the game, but also on life, it's pretty awesome. Every single person that makes it to the kind of stage that she's on has an interesting story. Because the path it takes to get there is crazy. I mean, there are highs, lows, even the in-betweens where you don't know what's going on, and it's not going to be a boring ride. So hearing about what it's taught her and what it's still teaching her, again, pretty cool. And one of my favorite things about doing this podcast, actually. So with that, let's transition to the foul tip of the week. This week's foul tip is about making smart goals. Now, I love dreaming big and making ambitious goals. All about it, that's where it starts, to me. But over the years, I've also realized that how we set those goals is important too. It's that whole concept of not just working hard, but also working smart. And you think about the progression that you make towards those goals and what are the smaller things along the way that are going to get you to that big goal at the end. These are the smart goals, right? It's like throwing progression. This is how I always think of it. My coach always used to say, we don't throw hard to warm up, right? We warm up to throw hard. So you start at a close distance, you're just getting your snaps in, and then you slowly, gradually get further and further apart as your arm gets more and more warmed up. And by the end of it, you're throwing far, you're throwing hard. You've met that goal to get ready for your game, your practice, whatever it is. So one way to think about it that makes it easy to remember that I've learned is literally to use the SMART acronym. Makes it easy, like I said. We want goals to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. SMART, SMART. An example would be, I want to get back to my inner athlete. This is something I've been thinking about recently. So in order to do that, I've come up with the goal that I want to run a 5K in under 30 minutes in 6 weeks from today. And I'm going to do it by running 3 times a week in gradually longer distances. Okay? So if we break this down, right, that 5K distance, that is specific and measurable. And even the 30 minutes that I want to do it in, which is also attainable, right? A 5K is about 3 miles. So 30 minutes really means like a 10-minute mile, which is very doable. That's attainable. This is not like Olympic speeds we're talking about that we saw in Tokyo, right? It's also relevant because running is athletic and it's something I've enjoyed doing in the past. So if I'm trying to get back to that inner athlete in me, this is a good way to do it. And then it's also time-based. The 6-week sort of deadline that exists. I also have heard over the years the difference between a dream and a goal is a deadline, right? So that 6 weeks gives me that time base to go off of, and also the time commitment that I'm saying I'll do to get there, which is training 3 times a week. So being smart, literally, and breaking down the goal this way makes it more likely that I'm actually going to achieve my goal. Because if I just said I wanted to run a 5K with no other structure around it at all, who knows when that goal would be achieved and how well it would be achieved, right? So specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-based goals for the win. So that's it. Make smart goals. That's the foul tip of the week. You've been listening to Bleav in Softball, presented by BetOnline. The show is available anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, wherever else you listen, including Bleav.com. And you can also watch the videos on YouTube. Subscribe, rate, write a review, and share it with your friends. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Bleav in Softball. Again, BLEAV. You can always reach out to me on Twitter at JennaBecerra01 and Instagram at JennaBecerra as well. Thanks for tuning in and catch you soon.